I'm Sandy Zalmut, and I have the honor of welcoming you to the 2025 Beautiful Minds Conference. And as I get started, I just kind of wanted to share what I've been going through lately. So I know that many of us have been navigating a tumultuous landscape, and we've navigated different feelings. And coming into today, I've navigated fear, anxiousness, some disappointment. But today, seeing all your faces here gives me a sense of uplift. It helps me to realize that the work that we are doing is meaningful and that it impacts people. And so I thank you for being here. And I know that we have a day full of different activities, presentations, and so there's a lot of information that will be coming forward. But again, thank you for coming, and we'll get the programming started. One thing, if anybody is having the need to have a quiet space, there is a quiet space down the hall in the south atrium, and we can point you there. Am I just doing a clicker? I'm going to go ahead and go to the land acknowledgement. Thank you. So the University of Michigan is located on the territory of the Anishinaabe people. The Ann Arbor campus resides on land ceded through the Treaty of Detroit in 1807. Additionally, in 1817, the Ojibwe, Ottawa, and the Potawatomi nations made the largest single land transfer to the university ceded through the Treaty of Fort Meigs with the agreement that their children would be educated in perpetuity. We assert the sovereignty of the tribal lands and acknowledge the painful historical and ongoing genocide, forced assimilation, and displacement of Native communities in establishing the university. We affirm contemporary and ancestral Anishinaabe ties to the land, the profound contributions of Native American peoples to this institution, and the university's commitment to educating their children in perpetuity. So, with that acknowledgement, we'll continue and proceed. I'd like to transition into words from our president. Oh, sorry. Let me go back a couple of slides. So this is not possible without help, and so I want to make sure that I recognize our team. These are all the individuals that have been working tirelessly behind the scenes, providing support, providing their resources, and providing their services. So I want to make sure that we acknowledge them. Next slide. I also want to acknowledge the Europe students that are working with us. This year we have 27 students helping us do research across different spaces, as you'll learn throughout the presentation. But they are working with looking and evaluating policy, helping us build out a survey that will be something that we're working with our global partners. We are working on AI and accessibility and thinking about how do we leverage innovation. The teams are also looking at gaming and virtual reality, simulated environments, and helping individuals navigate different spaces. We are working with gaming, adaptive sports, and thinking about how do we make spaces for individuals in those areas, as well as thinking about how do we leverage arts, the theater, and music in terms of communicating and providing areas of not only awareness but also areas that we can advocate. So those are the research specialties that the teams are working on, and you'll hear more from them today. Next slide. I also want to thank our sponsors. These are sponsors from across the university who have made this possible. Everybody contributes to making this message and this effort feasible. And so, again, a wholehearted thank you to the people who have sponsored us to make this come to reality. Today, we didn't think we were going to be able to have this event this year, but everybody has come forth, and so tons of support and continued collaboration. So thank you. And I think now we're having words from our president.
Hello, I'm Santa J. Ono, President of the University of Michigan, and it is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the Beautiful Minds Conference. We're so pleased you joined together. University of Michigan faculty, staff, and students, experts from University of Melbourne, advocates from across the globe, and friends, allies, and supporters from all across the neurodivergent community. We are here to speak about neurodivergence. But in reality, we are here to talk about something far more important: connecting, connecting on support through education and awareness, empowerment through inclusion and well-being, growth through innovation and research, and collaboration through community building. We are here to connect on lifting the distinct, ineffable potential of every beautiful mind, every incredible individual across our campuses, our universities, and our communities. It's so important that every person has that access, that support, that structure. For neurodivergent individuals who are facing greater anxiety, increased suicidal ideation, and tragically, escalating actualization. Since their disabilities are not apparent, they are often overlooked in wholeness and wellness communities. All the more reason that they need access, support, and understanding and uplifting. We can do so. These are vital aspects of our Vision 2034 strategy at the University of Michigan. Our commitment to human health and well-being, to life-changing education, and to finding solutions for the greatest challenges facing our society. So let's do it. Together, let us increase access, improve opportunities, and uplift all of the incredibly gifted and talented individuals and beautiful minds across our communities. Thanks again, and go Blue.
Hello, I'm Kathy Ignatoski. Before we start, I just wanted to remind everybody, the bathrooms are out and to the right, and the gender-neutral single stall bathrooms are upstairs on either side of the check-in desk where the security sits. Okay. Dr. McCauley serves as Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs at the University of Michigan, overseeing academic and budgetary affairs. Her leadership has established the university's first vice provost positions for sustainability and undergraduate education. And she has been instrumental in developing U of M's nationally recognized generative AI initiatives. She leads U of M's campus planning and strategic visioning processes alongside the other executive vice presidents. Dr. McCauley is a member of the National Academy of Medicine and a fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science. An NIH-supported researcher for over 25 years, Dr. McCauley's work focuses on bone biology and prostate cancer skeletal metastasis, contributing to regenerative medicine and treatments for bone loss. Dr. McCauley is deeply involved in efforts on campus promoting well-being, inclusion, and has committed to creating a more accessible environment for people with disabilities. Previously Dean of the School of Dentistry, Dr. McCauley is the William K. and Mary Ann Nodger Professor of Periodontics and Professor of Pathology in the medical school. She joined U of M in 1992 and holds 4 degrees from that place down south, the Ohio State University. Welcome, Dr. McCauley.
Thank you, Kathy. You could have stopped like before that last line. Oh. You know, one of the benefits of being provost is I get to give remarks at events that I think are just incredibly impactful, and this is definitely one of them. So I'm really thrilled to be here to help in the kickoff. One of the drawbacks of being provost is my schedule typically doesn't allow me to actually participate in a lot of the events that I give remarks at, and that's true for today. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to spend the day with you. But I will say that last year, I couldn't even be here to give remarks and had to give a videotape. So at least I can see all of the enthusiasm and excitement and dedication to this area. And I was able to purchase one of the tie-dye t-shirts, which I highly recommend if you haven't seen them outside. So I have to say, just looking around this room, I'm struck by the incredible diversity of the minds gathered here today. Researchers, advocates, students, educators, and community members, all united by a commitment to understanding and celebrating the rich tapestry of human cognition. These people, with their myriad and diverse roles, backgrounds, and deeply held beliefs, have one thing in common. They want to be heard and understood. I said this in my remarks at the inaugural Beautiful Minds Conference last year, and in the time since, I've become more convinced than ever of its truth. Everything from a fight about loading the dishwasher to our great cultural divide in this country carries traces of this truth. We all want to be heard and feel understood. This need ranks just below food and shelter in terms of human happiness. And to be truly understood requires incredible effort at times between ourselves and our fellow human beings. It requires moving beyond projection, where we think everybody must be more or less like us inside. Understanding requires curiosity. This is a word that I really appreciate and love, curiosity. It requires curiosity about other people and their inner lives. This conference is a wonderful opportunity to wade into that curiosity. I'm not sure how many of you read the New York Times, but last week I was taken by a guest essay from Holden Thorpe, who is the editor-in-chief of Science, the journal Science, which unquestionably is one of the top scientific journals in the world, if not in the top tier. Holden Thorpe is not only the editor-in-chief of this premier scientific journal, but he's also a professor of chemistry and medicine at George Washington University. If you didn't see his guest essay, I would recommend reading it. According to his own account, Thorpe is not only an accomplished scientist, but he recounts as a child, he was often found staring into space and missed social cues. And it wasn't until the age of 53 that he was diagnosed with autism. He talks about why there's this appearance of increasing autism in our world, and he says it is at least in part due to individuals like him who weren't diagnosed when they were children. He recounts that far from being solely a deficit, his neurodiversity made him a better scientist. His autistic thinking led him to search for and catalog patterns which were incredibly important to him in science. Autism isn't a condition he has. It is the native state of his mind and inseparable from his success and his way of seeing the world. His story highlights how our understanding of neurodiversity continues to evolve. It also shows us that great minds are often unique minds with their own special settings. And to understand the unique minds around us requires curiosity. Understanding also requires courage, courage to try and fail and try again, to understand what somebody else's life is like and how to support one another. And it requires that we give each other grace. We need to reward the curiosity and good faith of others with mutual respect, even when they get it wrong. I'm honored to be a part of this event because it is the realization of these profound aims. It's a space dedicated to understanding, connection, and growth across the spectrum of neurodiversity. I remain convinced that the university community can and must welcome people from all walks of life and all types of mind into our ranks. This truly is a place where anyone can flourish, especially when we create systems, tools, and work cultures infused with that belief. Through rigorous and compassionate research, we can better understand the needs of neurodiverse colleagues. We can learn about systems that have demonstrated benefits across the widest spectrum of people and how to help one another navigate our complex individual experiences. This understanding must extend beyond clinical perspectives to include the lived experiences of neurodiverse individuals themselves, their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs. Over the past year, we've seen tremendous strides in this area with groundbreaking research from our own faculty and students, as well as from our colleagues around the world. These efforts are gradually dismantling outdated paradigms that frame neurological differences primarily as deficits rather than variations in human cognition with their own inherent strengths. We can celebrate the profound benefits our community enjoys when we open ourselves to the entire spectrum of neurodiversity. This celebration isn't merely theoretical, it's practical and essential. Diverse cognitive styles bring unique problem-solving approaches, creative insights, and perspectives that enrich our academic community and society at large. And finally, we can take what we learn and elevate it, and I know you will do that here today. We can do that in conversation with our colleagues, in the way we teach in the classroom, the way we run our research programs, and through systemic design. And we can do it by gathering together to listen and grow like we are today. Elevation means transforming understanding into action, designing inclusive curricula, implementing accessible technologies, creating sensory-friendly spaces, and adopting flexible policies that acknowledge and accommodate neurological differences. It means building a university where everyone can participate fully without having to overcome unnecessary barriers or expend excessive energy conforming to narrowly defined expectations. I want to thank all of you for making the journey to share your wisdom here today. I also want to extend a special gratitude to the Institute for Social Research and all the sponsors of today's event for housing the project and supporting the work. Special thanks to Sandy, Kathy, and your teams for putting together what looks like a phenomenal day today. I hope you have a day filled with meaningful learning, authentic connection, and the joy that comes from being part of a community that values each person's unique cognitive identity. Together, we can build a future where neurodiversity is not just accommodated, but generally appreciated as an essential facet of the human experience. Thank you again in advance for the really meaningful work you're going to be doing today.
Good morning. My name is Chris Lonick. Thank you, Dr. McCauley. That was very inspiring. This is one of my triggers, so bear with me. I'm not going to do you justice. Dr. Chabi Chavez is a professor of education and psychology at the University of Michigan and vice provost for equity and inclusion and chief diversity officer. Dr. Chavez's research examines identity and motivation process among Black secondary and post-secondary students and impacts of diversity climate in secondary and higher education settings. This work includes a focus on contextual and individual level factors influencing STEM identity, development among racially minoritized students, and implications for academic persistence. Dr. Chavez's scholarships have been supported by the National Science Foundation, the National Institute of Health, the Spencer Foundation, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Dr. Chavez also served as the co-director for the Center for the Study of Black Youth in context, supporting research and training of students, postdocs, and early career scholarships around the positive development of diverse Black youth and families. Dr. Chavez has held leadership roles at department, college, and central administration levels over her 25 years at the university. Currently serving as the Vice Provost and Chief Diversity Officer, we are very grateful for it. She leads the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, working on policies and initiative for faculty, students, and staff, in collaboration with campuses, units, and local community. She works directly with the Provost in academic affairs, including faculty recruitment and retention, tenure promotion, and faculty development. As Chief Diversity Officer, she serves as a presidential advisor on DEI issues and strategic planning. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, I like the response. Thank you for the introduction. I'm Tabby Chavis, and I have the privilege of currently serving as Vice Provost for Equity and Inclusion and Chief Diversity Officer here at the University of Michigan. As noted, I'm also a professor of education and psychology, and my work in my administrative and scholarly spaces, like this conference, is rooted in the belief that how we think, learn, and engage with one another not only shapes our individual paths, but the very culture and values of our institutions. It is truly a joy to welcome you to the second annual Beautiful Minds Conference celebrating the diversity of neurodiversity. This gathering reflects a shared commitment to honoring the full range of cognitive experiences and creating spaces where all minds are valued, supported, and empowered to thrive. This gathering is a powerful reflection of what can happen when we intentionally create spaces to honor different ways of thinking and being. I want to begin by thanking the planning team, our presenters and panelists, and every individual who worked behind and in front of the scenes to bring this experience to life. That doesn't happen by accident. So thank you. I also want to thank each of you for being here, because your presence sends a message that neurodiversity is not just worth talking about, it's worth centering in how we learn, teach, lead, and live. A central aim of this conference is to deepen our shared understanding. Neurodiversity challenges outdated assumptions about intelligence, behavior, and communication. It invites us to rethink what's typical, what's normal, and who gets to decide. There is no average University of Michigan faculty, staff, or student. And it affirms that our differences, whether cognitive, social, sensory, or emotional, are not deficits. They're part of the human condition. They bring depth, insight, and innovation. And they deserve to be met with dignity and respect. But we're not just here to learn. We're here to empower. That means advocating for the systems and practices that don't just include neurodivergent individuals, but truly support and uplift them. At U of M, that work shows up in many ways within our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. From accessibility improvements and the IDEA Board's recommendations, to digital infrastructure, disability equity initiatives, and student-led advocacy that continues to push us to do and be better. These efforts remind us that inclusion is an active practice, not just a box we check. It's ongoing work that demands attention, care, and accountability. We also know that change happens through community and collaboration. And this is important to remember, especially in this challenging sociopolitical environment, when we know that there are those who may question our work and question this gathering itself. I'm often reminding our community these days that we have a culture where we are doing work grounded in excellence and legality. We are doing legally compliant work that is excellent, and that it is too based on institutional values and evidence. We know that when we bring people together with different experiences and ways of thinking, we open the door to creative problem solving and more meaningful innovation. This is especially important in academic spaces where too often the emphasis is placed on conformity over creativity. Conferences like this one model a different approach, one that values multiplicity and encourages partnerships that reach across disciplines, identities, and sectors. Finally, I'll close by saying that the Beautiful Minds Conference isn't just about programs or research or practices. It is about the people. The connections made here have the potential to outlast any single session or panel. They can spark new ideas, open unexpected doors, and remind each of us that we are not alone in this work. Whether you're a student, an educator, researcher, parent, advocate, or any other role, both directly in this institution or around it, your voice adds to this growing movement, and your presence here today strengthens it. So as we begin these days together, I hope that you'll listen with, as Lori said, curiosity, share with confidence, and leave here not only inspired, but more connected and more equipped to keep building environments where all minds can thrive. Our work here matters. The conversations we hold matter. The relationships we form matter. Thank you again for being part of this community and for bringing your full self to this space. Enjoy.